Welcome to Tales from Tubi.
Hey Tubi friends! Welcome to a brand new Tales from Tubi. For those of you who don't know what Tales from Tubi is, this is a series that I do over here on Tomb of Terrors, where I dive through the good, the bad, and the ugly of Tubi, because I watch a lot of Tubi between Tubi Tuesday that I do over on social media. Make sure you follow me on Blue Sky. Just look up Old Man Brad. We do watches every week. And the video picks that I do over on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. I give 5 picks every week. I'm always on Tubi, always watching, whatever various things they have to offer. The good, the bad, and the ugly, because Tubi has a lot of all of that. So the movie this week, Minnie's Midnight Massacre. Anybody who has heard in previous episodes, I'm all for the public domain horror movies. I've been watching them. I think I've watched all of the Mickey Mouse ones. So when a new one dropped on Tubi, I was like, you know what? Haven't done Tales from Tubi in a while. It's time to get at it. Let's go. Before I dive into the movie, though, I want to say if you were in the Cincinnati area, come out to Frightful Fridays on the third Friday of the month. So thankful to be partnered with the Esquire Theater to host a horror screening once a month. We don't have our screening for April locked in yet. Should be able to announce that very soon. Just keep it right here. You'll be the first one to know. But the third Friday of every month at 10 p.m., come out to the Esquire. Let's watch a movie together. All right, it's time for some more public domain horror. We're going to talk about, Mickey has had plenty of movies. It is Minnie's turn to get herself a horror movie. So let's talk Minnie's Midnight Massacre.
Well, I did say we were in the middle of nowhere, right? We have officially entered the dead zone.
We have been friends for 20 years.
The hell was that?
Is that what I think it is?
Yeah, it's a rat.
Be like old times.
Maybe not exactly like old times.
She's getting away! Not so fast after all.
Put her in the shelter.
No! Let me out!
Minnie as a killer targeting those who bullied her as a teenager. Simple synopsis right there, isn't it? There isn't much to it. This is written and directed by Brett Brentman. It stars Tiffany McDonald, Cliff Dean, Hannah Houston, and many others. This was released by ITN, who have released a few other public domain horror movies in the past, a bunch of the Mickey ones. As you know, when Steamboat Willie hit the public domain, they were coming fast and furious. The Mousetrap was the first one that dropped. Then we got Screamboat. There's Mouse of Horrors, I Heart Willie, Mouseboat Massacre. The Dark Domain, Mickey vs. Winnie is one that is coming soon. I think there are others in the works. Same with Winnie the Pooh. Everybody knows about the Blood and Honey films and that Poohniverse that we've gotten, with Bambi, Peter Pan, upcoming Pinocchio, and others. The public domain horror is really, really at an all-time high right now because so much of this stuff is starting to hit the public domain. And it feels like, hey, it's time to do some other ones because we've gotten, like Alice in Wonderlands, we've gotten Cinderellas, we've gotten other characters turned into horror movies in the past. Now it's Mickey, Minnie, Popeye, Betty Boop just came out with a horror movie, and the writer and director of this film, Brett Brentman, also did Betty's Revenge, one of the Betty Boop ones. He's no stranger to these because he has Aladdin's Revenge. They're coming out this year. He's done a Rumpelstiltskin. So he has 70 plus films under his belt. So he's no stranger to doing some of this stuff. But I'll tell you right up front that this movie didn't totally work for me. It takes Minnie, in like many of the other Mickey Mouse films that we've seen, where they just kind of give him a mask and turn him into a killer trying to be a slasher. Like the film itself You have this girl, her name's Winnie, and they make fun of her. I think they call her Winnie Minnie. These kids are making fun of her when they're younger. Later in life, they all come together in this kind of a party house, getting together. Minnie starts coming after them one by one to take them out. And the concept of this story, it could have just been any old slasher movie with whatever killer, whatever mask you decided to put on the person. It didn't have to be a Minnie. So that right there, you're like, okay, so you just threw the Minnie mask in there on this story. Maybe you already had this story and you're like, you know what? Let's make it a Minnie movie. There are a couple of the Mickey films, the Steamboat Willie films. There's a couple of those films that kind of do that same thing where it's just, hey, it's a crazy killer in a mouse mask. Screamboat is the one, it's my favorite of those. It actually takes Steamboat Willie and he's an actual small mouse going after killing them on a ferry. I enjoyed that one. This film, where do I start with it? I'm going to end up spoiling the ending to this because I laughed at the ending, just to let you know up front. The first thing that got me with this is the use of AI to create, there's some CG rats, but a few scenes, some scenes, they look like they're actual CG, but then some scenes you're like, this is a straight up AI generated like 3D or video. It just has that certain look, like overly processed, overly clean look to it that just immediately when I see it, it just jumps right out off the screen going, oh my gosh, this was AI. There was a movie I reviewed over on the YouTube page for More from the Tomb review called Bone Keeper. Same thing. It used AI in the effects and immediately I was like, that's AI. And it didn't work. So this one, same thing. The AI rats didn't work. Like I said, I think there are some other scenes where it's just not the best CG. We'll just let that kind of ride because I know the budget for this most likely was low. So you're not always going to get the top quality of CG, of practical effects. That's why you don't always see the full kills on screen, or there's a lot of cutaway because, I mean, money and time, they just don't have it in indie films. But using AI, putting that in, don't like it. And I know I said this before, this didn't bring anything new to the public domain space. It felt like it was the same as the other stuff that we've seen before. It's just a killer in a mask that just so happens to be a Minnie Mouse mask, and they call her Minnie. This could have been a really enjoyable, just stupid fun film. I mean, there are a few scenes that aren't bad, but it was just a been there, done that. And the scenes that weren't bad, it had other scenes that just kind of, I don't know, ultimately it just kind of felt uninspired because it was a very been there, done that. We've seen this before 1,000 times. I mean, we've seen it even in the Mickey versions that you just recycled something we've already seen, put a Minnie mask on it. It didn't flow. But here's spoiler alert. This is the part that I did chuckle at, honestly, when I got to the end. So out of this group of kids that was teasing Winnie, who is now Minnie, there was one kid in this group that's, stood up and said, hey guys, this isn't right. After the fact, like, apologize, I'm so sorry for them. When she's going after the other people later when they're older here, she doesn't kill him. And then she ends up kind of twisting him. And in the end, he puts on a mask. And guess what they call him at the end? They call him Willie. So we now have both of them. I'm sure a sequel will come out to this because I'm sure this seems like they're pretty cheap to make. You throw this in basically one location, throw it in a house. You just put a mask on, doing a lot of cutaways and stuff like that I'm sure budgetary wise, it doesn't take a ton to make these. That's why they can crank these out so quickly, so fast. It's a short schedule, and that's why we don't get the extent in effects. We don't get the elaborate, practical kills on screen because they just like, quick, let's go. But it's obviously set up for a sequel. Out of the other Mickey ones, I think all of them set up a sequel for those subsequent films with Minnie coming in. So again, we're just retreading the same space that we've been in already with 5 and a 6th one upcoming, and they've already announced a sequel to The Mousetrap with Minnie in it. So we have all these that came before it already doing the same thing the opposite way, where Minnie comes in at the end. So we're going to have sequels with Minnie. Now we do it with Minnie, and they put Willie in this one to have a sequel. So it's gotten to a point in a very, very short time since Steamboat Willie hit the public domain, and now Minnie has hit the public domain, that we're retreading. I will still go watch them. I'll still, when they come out, especially if they drop on Tubi, I'm a sucker. I will watch them. And if you just keep it right here, I'll probably have reviews. Well, at this point, I'm kind of rambling on about Minnie's Midnight Massacre. As I said, this is nothing new here. This could have been a movie without Minnie in it, just a revenge slasher killer, and it's just a retread of everything that we've seen before up to this point. So I can't give Minnie's Midnight Massacre a recommend. If you wanted to watch any of the public domain, even if it's any of the mouse ones, Screamboat is my favorite of those. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2 has been by far the best of them. But that one, you could tell that they got a much, much larger budget compared to the first one. The first one I'm a big fan of because it's just dumb, and I just had fun going through it. So I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to have a double feature to go with Minnie's Midnight Massacre. I mean, I guess if you want to go watch it, you can. But I suggest watching one of the other films instead, like Screamboat or the Winnie the Poohs. The Peter Pan one's not bad. There's one of the Popeye ones that's better out of all of them. I think it might be Popeye's Revenge. I think that's the best one of those. Well, whatever. If there are any other public domain that you've watched that you enjoyed, let me know, because I may not have caught them all or seen them all yet. Let me know what some of your favorites are. You can just comment on the episode or hit me up on social media and say, hey, have you seen this one? You should check this one out. I think that'll do it for my ramblings. On my way out, I do want to say join SpongeBob and his Bikini Bottom friends on their biggest adventure yet. SpongeBob and Patrick dive into the deepest, darkest depths of the underworld where no sponge has gone before. The SpongeBob movie Search for SquarePants is now available on DVD, Blu-ray, and digital. And again, if you are in Cincinnati, I will be at the Super Cincy Expo in May. If you come out to that, I will have copies of this that I will be giving away throughout the whole weekend. May 15th to the 17th. Join us. That will do it for this episode of Tales from Tubi. Just make sure you subscribe to the show so you don't miss anything over here, whether it's Tales from Tubi like this, interview episodes I do, short reviews, verses I do with my wife, or anything else that I do over here on the show, as well as this year, the year of Nashi. Each month I will be doing a review of a Paul Nashi movie. So I'll have one every month throughout this year with a special guest, as well as additional Paul Nashi movies sprinkled through the year over on my Patreon page and my YouTube channel. I think my list is over 20 films in total that I will be talking about through the year. So it's going to be a blast. I'm having fun so far. Make sure you subscribe everywhere and you won't miss them. Next week, I have Anthony Cousins and Chelsea Grant from Frogman Returns. Have them on. We'll be talking about that. But I will be back soon. Just keep it right here as I dive through the depths of Tubi to bring you the good and not so good films that I find. Until next time, I will talk to you later, everybody.